Very soon, a very special time of the year, is a great opportunity for reflection, self-analysis, and for good planning for the year ahead, for the life ahead. So we like to take this opportunity today to review some of Swami Shivananda's teachings on the subject of resolutions, as this is a special time really for making that type of a spiritual accounting and planning our spiritual life. So we wanted to review today some of Swami Shivananda's teachings and pointers for succeeding in this spiritual resolutions. But before that, before we start, we like to take the opportunity to welcome to the ashram Lama Losang, who is sitting here in the front. So we'd like to give Lama Losang a very warm welcome, as we are very honored and grateful to have Lama Losang here with us at the ashram for the first time. He is joining us to the special symposium of unity and diversity and sharing teachings from the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. And we'd like to welcome Lama Losang, who completed the traditional 3-year retreat under the guidance of the renowned meditation master, Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche. He is fully ordained a Gelong monk and Lama in the Karma Kagyu lineage of Tibetan Buddhism and director of Gainesville Karma Tegsum Chuling Meditation Center. He was awarded the Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology from the University of Florida. He is a licensed acupuncture physician and director of the Traditional Acupuncture Center. As a Westerner trained in both Eastern and Western sciences, he is able to provide a unique synthesis and perspective to health and healing to students of all ages. So we're very honored and grateful to have Lama Losang here with us at the ashram. And tonight in the evening satsang, he will start presenting teachings from the Tibetan Buddhist tradition on the subject of wisdom, compassion, and awakening, which is also the title of Lama Losang's latest book. So we're very grateful to have him here with us. So we will start today's session just with a few minutes of silence. So you're welcome to sit with your back straight, and you can close your eyes, pulling the shoulders back, taking a deep inhalation and straightening the spine, long exhalation. And inhale deeply, pulling the back up straight. Exhale completely. And just for a few moments, paying attention to your body. Notice how you're sitting tall, with the chest open. Just allowing the mind to settle down into the present. And bringing your awareness towards your breathing. Feel and witness the movement of air coming in through the nostrils as you inhale. Feel and witness the movement of air coming out of the nostrils as you exhale. And just enjoy this opportunity to let go of any plans, any worries, just to be here and now with your breathing. Feel and witness each inhalation. Feel and witness each exhalation. Just for a few more moments in silence, allow the conscious breathing to rejuvenate the body, to uplift the mind just by being present with the breath. Inhale consciously and exhale consciously for a few more moments in silence. So we'll continue with our starting mantras. If you're familiar, you're welcome to join. And in a moment, they should be also on the screen. So you're welcome to follow along. Gajananam bhotaganadi sevitam kapita jambu palasara bhakshitam Umasutam shokavinashakaranam namami vigneshwara padapam kajam shadananam kumkumaraktavanam mahamatim divya mayuravahanam rudrasya sunam surasanyanatam guham sadaham sharanam papadye Ya kundendo tusharaharadavala Ya shubhravastravrita Ya vina varadanda manditakara Ya shveta padma asana Ya brahmachuta shankara pravittibir Devai sada pujita Samampatu saraswati bhagavati Nisheshajadhyapaha Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Shri Shivanandaya Te Namaha Shri Vishnudevanandaya Te Namaha Om Savamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvata Sadike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om Shanti 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 Om Peace 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vitvisha Vahai Om Shanti 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 Om Peace 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 Om Bolo Sadguru Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai Om Bolo Swami Vishnudevananda Maharaj Ki Jai Om Namah Shivaya. And again, good afternoon to everybody, and thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today, both here at the ashram and any of our good friends joining us online. And we're very grateful to welcome everybody to the ashram at this special time of the high holidays of Christmas and Hanukkah and the New Year's. And just to get a little bit of a sense, how many are here for the first time to the ashram? Okay, welcome. You are at the Shivananda Yoga Retreat, in case you're not sure where you are. Just so you know, this is Atlantis is there. This is the ashram. No blackjack back over there. But just so we welcome everybody. And as we mentioned in the beginning, this is a very special time of the year. It's not by chance that we are celebrating Christmas and celebrating Hanukkah, and so many different type of holidays fall together at the certain times of the year where the energy is very particular. And this is, of course, the time where the darkest time of the year, in a sense, where we have the winter solstice, where the days are shortest and the nights are longest. And it's a very special time for introspection and for self-analysis. And as we're coming towards the end of the year, this is a great time where the yogis encourage to think about the year that has passed, to think about the life that has passed, and really to analyze a little bit how things are going, and then out of that analysis to draw some conclusions about how we would like to move forward. So the yogis are actually teaching that some type of analysis and some type of reflection and some type of resolutions forward is something that is very beneficial to do on a daily basis. That would be the ideal thing. But if we're not doing it on a daily basis, at least at the end of the year, this is a great opportunity to think about how things have been and how we would like to move forward. So today we will be sharing some teachings of Swami Shivananda about how to move forward in the most successful manner, how to really be able to accomplish those aspirations that we have for our life. So today's session is titled A New Year, A New You. As naturally, we all have some desire for a better version of ourselves. You see, if we look at it, New Year's resolution is something that people do worldwide, not necessarily in ashrams, but people around the world have this inherent tendency for practicing New Year's resolutions. And we may be having plans about how to improve our health, how to improve our financial situation, how to improve our house. Basically, there is many different type of interests that we have about making our life better. Everybody has this desire in their mind to improve their situation, to have a better version of themselves. And the yogis teach that type of inclination for improving ourselves or improving our life is an inherent inclination, for the simple reason that our true self is much greater than what we experience in the moment. That our true nature, the true nature of reality, is far and beyond better than what we experience now. So it's a subconscious push for things to be better, because in reality they are much better. And we know that inside. We know that actually we could be better. And the fact of the matter is that we are incomparably better than what we know now. The true nature of reality is far more fulfilling and far more perfect than what we know now, from what we experience now. So it is a given that every human being, to one degree or the other, is trying to improve themselves or trying to improve their situation. Sometimes improving the situation is just having a desire to go to Starbucks. Our life is like a little bit, and we think, my life will be better if I go to Starbucks. So then that pushes us to Starbucks. Or, we all have some kind of a idea about how to improve our situation. Sometimes it's a little bit more of a wise idea. Sometimes it's the best idea that is there at the moment. But what the yogis are teaching, it's inherent within us to want to be better, greater, more perfect, more whole, more happy, because the truth of the matter is that we are that. We are that perfection. We are that unconditional happiness, and we are always going to have a push in that direction. So this type of New Year's resolution is inevitable, because everybody knows inside himself or herself that actually there is a better version of ourselves. And we want to experience it. We want to know it. We're not really satisfied with life as it is. And that's a very good thing. We should not really be satisfied with what we know about life at the moment. The yogis are saying, no, there is something much, much greater available for us. But we need to comprehend that. So New Year's resolution is a universal thing. And you see, we know in life that anybody who achieved any type of serious success, they were able to do it due to the fact that they had a very strong resolution. Anybody who is a gold medalist, anybody who has achieved great success in science or business or music, any field, these individuals, they had a very strong resolve. Without having a strong resolution, there is no way to achieve something great. It's all based on the clarity about where we want to go, and then the commitment to achieve it. On that, learning how to work with a strong resolve. On the spiritual path is exactly the same. The spiritual path, our ability to reach greatness, our ability to reach our highest potential, is based on strong resolve. Now, see, Swami Shivananda teaches that it is better to aim at a lion and miss it than aim at a jackal and catch it. Now, the yogis don't recommend that we aim at lions, okay? That's not the meaning. We practice ahimsa in yoga. But the meaning is that at this time, like of a New Year's, this is a great opportunity to think big, to think high. Because usually in life, we have certain times where we have aspirations, certain times that we have inspirations, that we dream big, but then because of past failures, because of different setbacks, we start compromising for something lower. See, so many times when we speak with people and we talk about in this life, aim for self-realization, aim to know the self, aim to know God, people will say, Swami, I believe in self-realization, but I think that's for next life. This life, I will do this or do this. Next life, I will come back, and then I will aim for self-realization. And many times, this type of a tendency is just because of, thinking that we are not worthy enough, that we're not capable enough. Because we made some mistakes in the past, we don't really believe in our ability to achieve something really substantial, to achieve something really great. But the yogis are teaching that it's better to aim at the highest and fail in it and aim at the lower and succeed in it. Why do you think? Why is it so important to aim at something high? So you can fall somewhere in the middle. This is true. This is true. What else? Yes? That to from the beginning to recognize that we are that perfection. This is true. You might actually achieve it. And you see, if we never aim at it, there is never a way to fall just there. You see, if we don't aim at that destiny, we will not reach there. You see, the yogis don't fall from the sky. Buddha or Jesus or all great masters didn't become like that just by chance. But they were aiming towards that and dedicated to that again and again and again. Meaning the first step at reaching the destination is aiming at that destination. If we don't aim there, we will also not find ourselves arriving there by mistake. So the beginning is to aim there. And then, of course, we may fail several times, but eventually we will be successful. But the first thing is that we need to aim at the highest. So when we are looking at New Year's resolutions, New Year's resolution is a great opportunity at this 2025 to resolve, to realize God in 2025. Not to wait 40 years from now, 40 lives from now, but in this year to aim at the highest. You see, why not? Why to postpone being happy? Why should we think that we are not qualified to achieve the greatest? The first step is to actually believe that we can do it. And if we look at, it's so common to take New Year's resolution, but it is very rare that people would put enlightenment or self-realization as their number one priority for the New Year's resolution. Usually it is maybe, learning how to play the guitar, learning how to speak Spanish, losing 5 pounds. Now, these things are good. Nobody is saying that they're not. These are good things. It's good to learn how to speak Spanish. It's wonderful to play the guitar. But it's even more wonderful to find happiness, to find real fulfillment. And unless our mind is directed towards the source of happiness, then we won't find it. So what the yogis are teaching, if we look at the spiritual path is a gradual transformation in priorities. That gradually it becomes more and more clear to us what it is that we are really looking for, which is what, obviously? Happiness. So it becomes more and more evident to us that even when I'm wanting to study Spanish, even when I want to climb Mount Everest, even when I want to go to Paris and try all the different baguettes and crepes and all these things, actually what I'm always looking for is happiness. So slowly on the spiritual path that becomes more and more evident, and then what becomes more and more evident, where actually it is. What does it actually mean to find happiness? That also gradually becomes more and more clear in our mind. But that type of a transformation in priority, that gradual transformation in attitude and thinking is the process of the spiritual path. And that process can only come from some type of a introspection, from some type of self-analysis. So for example, when we are approaching this 2025, this new year ahead of us, what the yogis often recommend, this new year should not be looked upon just as any other year. The yogis recommend that we look at it as if this is our last year. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how many years are ahead of us. Now, looking at it as being the last year is not from a point of view of making us depressed, not from a point of view of making us gloomy or dejected, but it is exactly the opposite. The yogis teach by looking at something as it truly is, temporary and maybe the last. That is going to make us the most positive, the most inspired, and the most enthusiastic individual. Now, why do you think? Why looking at this year as maybe being the last year will make us actually the best version of ourselves, the most positive individual? Why do you think? Many reasons, but can't procrastinate. Exactly. Very true. Take less for granted. Yeah. Live every day like it truly matters. Very good. So, in our ashram in New York, we had the good fortune every year to celebrate Martin Luther King weekend. And we would watch this documentary about the life of Martin Luther King. And there, in the documentary, they showed when Martin Luther King was just a young minister in his mid-20s, there was an attempt on an assassination on him. He was stabbed in the chest. And his close friends shared that he said that every day afterwards, when he would go and wake up in the morning and brush his teeth and shave, he would see this big scar across his chest. And every day it reminded him that this might be his last day. So he lived with that type of an intensity of not to waste any day. And that's kind of made him for what he was. Now, in the yogic teachings, one of the main yogic scriptures is called the Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a story of a king who gets cursed, but it's not truly a curse. It's actually a blessing in disguise. But he gets cursed that he is going to die in 7 days. So this king, he gets cursed by a sage that he is going to die in 7 days. And in the yogic tradition, they say that this is the luckiest person. It sounds so strange. A person that is getting cursed to die in 7 days, they say is the luckiest person. But why is he so lucky? Because he becomes intensely aware of the impermanence of life. And what he does, he calls on all the greatest sages to teach him what is the best way to spend this upcoming 7 days. And he spends the 7 days hearing the stories of the divine, and he attains self-realization at the end of these 7 days. So it's a very important teaching about learning to become awake of this great gift of human life and not to waste a moment. That is what's going to make our life really meaningful and purposeful. So if we want to make this 2025 a year that will truly uplift us, we have to think about it as if it's our last year. And if it is our last year, and it may be, God forbid, but it may be, but how do we want to spend this year? So to take the time and really think seriously, what is the most meaningful, purposeful way in which we can spend this year ahead? So you don't have to say now, but you can think about it. Really, it's very useful. And it's good to see what comes into our mind, because what comes into our mind instinctually teaches us a lot about how we perceive life, without a judgment, but just to become more conscious of it. So when we approach this 2025, we do want to really take the time and think as if it's our last year, and how would we want to spend our time. for the simple reason that wasting time, the issue with wasting time is this creation or strengthening of tendencies that lead towards suffering. See, the yogis are teaching us, don't waste time, not even so much because of the time that is being wasted. But what does it mean to waste time? To waste time means enhancing and cultivating tendencies of thinking and tendencies of behavior that are taking us more and more into delusion and suffering. Utilizing time well is cultivating consciously patterns of thoughts and patterns of behavior that are leading us towards freedom. And if we are not aware of the value of time, we are naturally spiraling down into habits, past habits that are just keeping us bound into suffering. And when we become aware, oh, I have just a short time, let me do something really meaningful, it means that we are cultivating the necessary energy to make a shift. Because to do things that are not useful doesn't take any energy. We can easily just lie on the sofa, eat popcorn, bonbons, and just click keep scrolling down. Scrolling down or changing the channel doesn't take any energy. But to uplift ourselves takes energy. And when we remember the value of time, the energy gets awakened within us to make that shift. That is the idea. So the yogis are teaching very beneficial for us to take the time to take resolutions. Now, what do you think, what are some of the main benefits of taking resolutions? Many benefits are there of planning some resolutions for ourselves. What are some of the main benefits of doing this exercise of resolving? I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to do this amount of meditation. I'm going to give up cookies, or maybe I will only eat two cookies. Giving up cookies altogether is a little bit too much, but we take some resolution. What is the value of taking these kind of resolutions? Many benefits are there, but why is it such a beneficial exercise? Yes. So I'll just repeat it so our friends online can hear. So, so you can have it written down and you can refer to it later. It's very true. Yeah. What else? This is very true. Yes. It becomes an anchor. It strengthens the commitment, the dedication. This is all correct. And see, Swami Shivananda writes a few things about the benefits of resolution. One, resolution is about developing a clear vision of our destiny. So when you're practicing resolution, you are taking charge of your future. You are becoming the master of your destiny. You're not just allowing things to happen haphazardly, randomly. Just like any person who is a successful person in business. Any successful business person knows that's the ABC of business is to have a clear destiny of where you want your business to reach. Without that clear goal, the likelihood of achieving that goal is very, very small. There's a famous saying, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. So also, when we're taking time for resolutions, we're taking time to think about what is the destiny. Where now I'm not practicing asanas every day. Why not? I can definitely be practicing asanas every day. But I have to envision that that's a possibility for me. Now I'm not studying the Bhagavad Gita every day. But I can definitely start studying the Bhagavad Gita every day. But I need to have that vision for myself. So the resolutions is starting to be more clear about where do I see myself going. Start guiding our life. That's the first benefit of this practice of resolution. Second benefit, important benefit of resolution, this is a positive transformation. What does it mean, positive transformation? You see, at the moment, we all know that in our character, in our personality, in our life habits, there is many things that are not ideal. Maybe not the best diet, maybe not the best sleeping patterns, maybe we feel like we waste a lot of time on social media, maybe we notice we have a lot of fears and anxiety, maybe we have a lot of jealousy. All these things, they're definitely there in the mind. It's not a shame. Every human mind has these issues, and it's actually very important that we learn to recognize it. Very essential. And what we need to know, that they're not destined to always be there. Meaning, even if we have this habit or that habit, that's not just how we are. Sometimes we think, oh, I have these fears or I have these attachments, that's just who I am. It's definitely not who we are. We can definitely change. You know, I can share with you, when I first came here to do the teacher's training course, we learned all these yogic teachings, and it was totally new for me. And after I did the TTC, I stayed and I worked in the kitchen as a karma yogi. And in those days, actually throughout my life, I had a great aversion to cilantro. If there was any type of remnants of cilantro in the salad or in the soup, there was no way I could come close it. Even the smell would make me feel quite nauseous. I really didn't like it. I even didn't know what it was in the beginning. I didn't know it's called cilantro. When it was there in the salad, I couldn't eat the salad. So then I was working in the kitchen, and the head cook we were good friends, so every time he had to take, before he added the cilantro, he had to pull a bowl aside because otherwise I couldn't eat. So it was just like that. And then I arrived in our center in Manhattan, and then the director of the center there, he loves cilantro. So everything was cilantro. So then I said, okay, they taught us in the TTC, these likes and dislikes, these are just mental tendencies. You can change them. I said, okay, I will practice this. So then I started practicing eating the cilantro. And even though the mind was responding, I would say, mind, be quiet. Just eat it. It's very tasty. Enjoy it. Don't have nausea. Just eat quietly. And without exaggeration, I think it was a week or two, I started loving cilantro, where I could eat with great joy a whole bowl of cilantro. And it was just incredible how it was changed. Now, the point is not cilantro. It's not a big deal to like or dislike cilantro. The point is to understand that our mind is pliable, that like and dislikes tendencies can be changed with practice. And this is what resolutions is all about. Even if now we don't have the best habits, we can change them. We can change the gross habits of eating and wake up and exercise, and we can even change much more subtle habits of anger and fear and jealousy, and ultimately we can change the deepest habits of how we view ourselves, how we understand the self. It's all mental tendencies. So resolutions is about knowing that we can change and then taking that right course of action. Then the other important benefits of taking resolutions is our willpower becomes strong and free. So why do you think, what does resolutions have to do with willpower? Obviously, but what do you think? Many things. you become determined and clear. What is it? So you can stick with it. This is very true. Cultivates discipline.
Yeah, I think when you haven't, like if you don't have an aim, you don't know which way to go. So it's like having the aim like helps you actually utilize your solar plexus chakra with that will.
When you have that aim, you can take action, you use your willpower. It's exactly true. And you see, what we have to remember with resolutions, that resolutions won't be automatically successful. Actually, Swami Vishnu used to explain, if a resolution is immediately successful, that resolution doesn't have that much value. Meaning, you see, he would give the example. He would say, if I take a New Year's resolution to wake up every day at 4 a.m., or if I take a resolution to be a vegetarian, I will be immediately successful. Why? Because I'm already like that. So if we take a resolution when we are immediately successful, it's okay, but it's not so meaningful because it's already inherent in our current condition. So the meaning is, a real valuable resolution, we are bound to fail in it a few times because we are working against very strong past tendencies. But then our commitment not to give up and to stick to it until we are successful in the resolution is a great exercise of will. Our will becomes greatly strong and free from inhibitions when we are committed to our resolution. So meaning, let's say we take a resolve, I'm going to practice half an hour of asanas every day in 2025. So of course, it's very beneficial to do asanas every day. But even more beneficial is that our willpower became stronger as a result of that. Our willpower became more available at our disposal. Because if we didn't do something before and now we're able to do it, we became greater masters of our mind. And now our ability to change and to shift and to guide our life is much more accessible for us. That inner power became much more available for us. Because you see, the yogis explain, willpower is soul force. It's a power within us, a power to do great things in this world. But at the moment that power is greatly shackled down by all of our desires and attachments, and even though we want to do good, we're not able to, because the willpower is greatly suffocated or chained down by all of the desires and attachments. So when we're able to make that willpower a little bit freer, our capacity to do good in our life is enhanced tremendously. Okay, so there's many benefits in this practice of resolutions. These are some of the main ones. Now, what we wanted to introduce, just to give you a little bit of an idea about the common resolutions that Swami Shivananda recommends as spiritual resolutions. Many different types, but just to give us a sense. And in the end of the workshop, we'll give you a handout that has all these resolutions. Just to, of course, we can choose any resolutions that fit us, but this gives us a little bit of an idea of the common recommended resolutions. So, for example, Swami Shivananda says, I will perform asanas and pranayama, and we make a plan for how many minutes daily. That's a foundation of helping us grow on the spiritual path, having more regular practice of Hatha Yoga. Then, Swamiji has several suggestions here about fasting. So these are fastings in the yogic tradition, Hindu tradition, having a fast of milk and fruits every so often, having a fast on what is called Ekadashi. Ekadashi is the 11th day after the new moon or the full moon, so twice a month when the moon is in that particular condition. It is more auspicious for a fast. So one idea of a spiritual resolution is to plan some control over our diet. And practice of fasting, it's not, not an easy practice, but very purifying for the body and the mind. Greatly strengthening the willpower, having regular fasting. So that's one idea of resolves in the new year. Another practice, number 4, I will give up one of my cherished objects of enjoyment. This doesn't mean giving up our cats, okay? Or don't give up your children. No, they should be kept. These, don't give them up. But this means, like giving up the smartphone, locking it up once in a while, once every day, month, for a certain amount of time. So this is a great practice of strengthening ourselves and purifying. The idea is not to give up things that are really beneficial, but things that are maybe not so good for us, to learn to try to give them up every so often. And the same idea, I will not indulge. So here Swamiji writes smoking, cards, cinemas. Now, so this is back in the 1940s, 50s. So, but we can fill out the blanks according to, we all know we have some habits are not so supportive for us, so these maybe we can give them up. Then practice of mauna. So practice of observing silence, a certain amount of time every day, or certain days, holidays, Sundays. And what Swamiji writes, very important, silence means utilizing the time in concentration, meditation, japa. Meaning silence is not while I'm watching Netflix, so I'm keeping silence. I'm not talking to anybody. You tell, sorry, I'm practicing silence now, putting the headphones. That's not the meaning. The meaning is time of going within. So there is a lot to say about it, but this is a could be a wonderful thing to introduce to enhance our spiritual life. Practice of silence. Then, Swamiji also has here about the practice of what's called brahmacharya, celibacy. Here, of course, this has to be something that is related to us, but the idea here is more about cultivating purity in our thinking, in our conduct, according to our life circumstances. Then, something that we can all relate to more, I will not utter angry, harsh, or vulgar words towards anyone during this year. That's a big commitment. We can say, we can take one day a week in which we will make this vow, but it's a good, very valuable vow of controlling the speech and not hurting others. The commitment towards truth, a commitment of not entertaining negative thoughts towards anyone. It's a nice type of a spiritual resolve to take. Giving charity, performance of selfless service, certain amount of practice of mantra repetition. These are all different types of good idea for spiritual resolves. Now, also one thing Swami Shivananda says, from this list, we can pick 2 or 3. If we pick too much, we will not be able to uphold it. So this is just something to give us inspiration. And then we keep a few that we really want to strengthen. Then regular study. I will maintain a daily spiritual diary. Send a copy of it to my teacher or Guruji for getting further lessons. Waking up in a certain time, practicing kirtan. So this is all to give us an idea about different types of resolutions that we can take. Now, before we conclude, we wanted to share a few main tips about how to be successful in resolutions. Because I'm sure all of us practiced some type of resolutions in our life previously, and we all many times got discouraged that by January 2nd or 3rd, we already failed 100 times. So, first of all, we should not be discouraged. That's most important. But then, Swami Shivananda gives us some pointers about how to actually be successful in resolution. And today we wanted to share 3 main pointers about how to be successful in the spiritual resolves. So these are 3 yogic tools for success in our New Year's resolution. The first one is to take a proper resolution. Meaning, if we want to be successful, it should not be too high and not too low. Okay, so what does it mean? Not too high means if we aim at something that is totally unrealistic, it is natural that we're not going to be able to be successful. And if we're not successful at all, there is a tendency to get discouraged, and then there is a tendency to give up on the practice of resolutions altogether. See, the yogis are encouraging us to use resolutions not just in the New Year's. Resolution is an active part of our spiritual life. It keeps us alive and dynamic in our spiritual aspirations. We are always working with resolutions. Now, if we aim at something too high, like we never practiced regular meditation before, and now after being at the ashram, we love meditation so much, we say, now I'm going to practice 3 hours of meditation every day. Naturally, if we never done it before, we may try one day and then we'll give up meditation altogether. So Swamiji used to say, this is like a person who never lifted weights and tries to lift 100 pounds. They will have such a horrible experience, they will never want to go to the gym again. So in the same way, we should not do something that is unrealistic. But we should also not do something that is too easy, because then there is no point in it. If we're already doing it, there will be no progress. So we should take the time, objectively assess our current condition, and plan to go a little bit higher. And we should be prepared that there is a good chance that we will fail. And if we fail, we need to learn to what the yogis say, we need to learn to fail forward or fall forward. Not to look at the failure as the end of the world. It's a stepping stone for success. Just like a child who is learning to walk. When they learn to walk, the child falls a few times. The parent doesn't say, oh, forget about it, you cannot walk, don't try. God forbid the parent says that. But they get encouraged and encouraged. But you don't take a child who doesn't know how to walk and, let them run a marathon. Okay, they on their own. They have to learn to walk step by step. So also, like that was the resolution. We should think, how much asanas have I been doing already? Okay, really speaking, I've been doing it twice a week. I have to be honest with myself. I don't do it every day. I do it twice a week when I go to the gym or something. That's okay. We need to be objective and think, okay, how can I improve a little bit more from here? How much study have I been doing? Maybe not so much. So even if I'm going to now aim to do 10 minutes of study, it's 10 minutes than before. That is a great achievement. Okay, so like that, to plan some resolutions a little bit higher, but not too low. That's the first step for success. Now, once we accomplish it, then we can raise the bar up higher. Then we go up higher. Next point. Here, in order to be successful, we use a proper resolution form. We sign it and we send it to our teacher. Meaning, Swami Shivananda says, don't keep the resolutions just in your mind. If they're just in your mind, they're also just going to stay in the mind. They're not going to become actual. You have to write them down. And Swamiji says it's like a contract. Sign it. date it, and he even puts your address on it. So then the teacher can find you. So you cannot hide. And you keep one copy, you put it on your refrigerator, you keep it somewhere where you can see it, you will remember it, and you send it to a friend that you trust. If you have a teacher, you send it to your teacher, because then there is accountability. The issue of the mind doesn't change without accountability. The mind is transformed through consequences. If there is somebody that will say, hey, Ambika, you said you would do asanas every day, you haven't done, then we are more likely to do. If nobody is there to check, the mind easily gives up. So it is very easy for the mind to go in wrong ways if there is no consequences, if there is no accountability. So if we write it down, commit, we keep it, our commitment, and then somebody is also there, that is a great way to actually be successful in the resolves. That's all. Success in life is based on having a good support system. The mind on its own tends to give up. We need to have a good support system. So, proper resolve form, and in the handout that we have, you will have an idea of this type of a resolve form. And also, anybody who is interested, after the class, I can share with you. We have a link for a type of an online form, a resolve form that you can keep, and that's also a way to do it. Okay, so I can show it. Then, the last point that we will share today is a proper follow-up system. So, and here we talk about the spiritual diary and the system of accountability. So, meaning not just having the resolve form, but in order to enhance our accountability and the checkup, the spiritual diary is a practice where every night we fill out this form known as the spiritual diary, and the spiritual diary is based on our resolutions. So meaning if I resolve to wake up at 5 a.m., in the spiritual diary, I have a question: when did I wake up? Why? To check. Am I following up on my resolution? How much pranayama did I do? I had the resolution to do 20 minutes of pranayama. Then it's not vague. How much did I actually do? And then I can see day by day if I'm following according to my resolution. If I'm not, then I need to ask myself, why am I not following on the resolution? There could be many different reasons. Sometimes the resolution is too high. So then I should try to reduce it a bit so I can match it and actually reach it. Sometimes there's other just distractions and things. But what the spiritual diary does, it keeps the resolutions alive. So they're not just there for the New Year's. We are every night aware of our good intentions, and we stay committed to the good intentions. Now, what is the system of accountability? This is a very advanced practice, but highly effective. What Swami Shivananda says, if we take a resolution that I am going to give up cookies, don't take that horrible resolution, but if we take that resolution and then we see Monday I ate 5 cookies, Tuesday, well, it was New Year's Eve, I ate 10 cookies, of course, New Year's Eve. But we see that we fail in it. Swami Shivananda says, if we fail in our resolution, there should be an immediate response. What is the response? If I failed in the resolution, then, for example, I will practice 10 minutes extra of meditation. Or I will repeat 5 malas because I didn't follow up on my resolution. Now, why? You see, the moment that there is consequences to my failures, the next day the mind will think twice before failing again. The mind will understand, if I make a mistake, there is going to be a result to it. Then the mind thinks twice before making that mistake again. So that is a very powerful tool to ensure our commitment to the resolution, that there is actually some consequences to our mistakes. Okay, so these are 3 pointers about how to be successful in the resolutions. Planning the resolutions, writing them down, signing it, and sending a copy to somebody that we trust that will help us to keep accountability, and keeping a diary that we are every day checking, are we staying on target or not. And like this, we can work and meet our goals. And slowly, we can raise the bar higher and higher with this proper working system. Okay, so these are some pointers about Swami Shivananda's teachings on spiritual resolve. So we'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for joining for this workshop. And we'd like to take the opportunity to wish everybody a nice ending of this 2024. And we would like to encourage all of us really to take the time and to think about the year that has passed, the life that has passed, and really contemplate how can we make this 2025 the best year ever. Because it is within our hands. The yogis teach, we do not know what is going to be on the planet. We do not know what is going to be all around us. But what we can know for sure, it's what's inside of us. And that's the one thing that we can truly take charge of. And we would like to make the best opportunity in the year ahead to grow spiritually. Because ultimately, it's always within our own hands. Nobody else can do it for us. So we wish everybody a wonderful ending of 2024 and a very bright and uplifting 2025. Om Tat Sat. So we'll conclude with 3 Oms and a short version of our final prayers. Om. 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 Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purna Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Om Bolo Sadguru Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolo Swami Vishnudevananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you everybody for joining and have a wonderful rest of the afternoon. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to come and ask, and have a wonderful rest of the day. And please, welcome to have a copy of this handout of teachings of Swami Shivananda about the spiritual resolutions.